The parameters of organizational power and politics. There are two good reasons why the most coveted prize of business is called the secret handshake. The first is that most people believe the political savvy necessary to break down barriers to the inner circles of organizations is inaccessible to all but a very few. That explains why there's a dearth of useful information devoted to the topic. Even organization experts consider politics an enigmatic puzzle. The second reason is that the path to the acquisition of this prize is purposely kept ambiguous by many of those who have successfully traversed it. They share sparingly the whereabouts and characteristics of the mazes, obstacles, and dangers that must be overcome in its pursuit. Some even deny that there is a path. After all, if just anyone could achieve the secret handshake, there would be no value in having attained it. It's an exclusive club, and certain conditions must be met for membership, certain hurdles overcome. Many of these hurdles have nothing to do with technical competence. While the path to acquiring the secret handshake varies across organizations, both the existing research and the practical experiences of the many people I interviewed indicate that political savvy is a prerequisite, more so even than job competence. This is especially true at higher levels of organizations where the signals are ever more ambiguous. The prized executive offices are scarce, so competition is fierce. Yet at the loftier levels, a high degree of professionalism is required. It's important for everyone to appear as though they are above pettiness and petulance. Consequently, political warfare at this level is subliminal and more often comprised of hidden minefields and stealth bombers than hand-to-hand combat. As the stakes get higher, the battle gets rougher, even if you can't see any weapons. To the successful executive in a competitive organization, day-to-day life is politics. There is no doubt that a high level of eld-based competence is needed to get ahead. But choose any two competent people, and the one who has political savvy, agility in the use of power, and the ability to influence others will go further. Politics in the common vernacular refers to what other people do to get their way, as such it has negative connotations. Politics in organizations involves going outside the usual, formally sanctioned channels, something nearly every successful manager has done at one time or another. The real political moves are the ones not written down anywhere. Simply put, politics is an illegitimate means of getting things done. So much of life is politics, especially at work. How should you approach a difficult situation? When should you take forceful action to stand up for yourself? How can you predict and prepare for others' reactions? Should you or shouldn't you fight a battle? If you do, how will you identify your allies and enemies? All these questions are part of daily life at work. As Caroline Nahas, Managing Director, Southern California, at Korn Ferry International, sees it, there are two choices with regard to politics: either sit in the stands or get in the game and be a player. Yet Nahas doesn't see politics as necessarily, or even largely, negative. To be politically astute, you need to read where the trend lines are, be ahead of the game, and focus on areas that you think will be important. There's nothing underhanded about this aspect of politics. In fact, it's constructive for the individual, and the organization. Not all politics is so benign, however. It didn't take Steve Harcourt, a senior executive at a leading sports products company, long to learn this. As he describes it, he thought he'd been hired to get all the money possible, to make a huge profit for the company. What he learned instead was that the CEO wanted increased profits but not at any cost. When Harcourt insulted one of the CEO's favored guys by suggesting that he do a few things differently, the response was not positive. Harcourt was edged out for a while. The CEO never said anything directly to him, but he got the message. He now believes, if you ignore politics and make someone above you look bad, you're going to have a short career. So Harcourt's rule of thumb is to ask himself, can anything good come out of this? That has gotten him the label of political animal at times, but as he sees it, politics is reality. you have to know when to speak up and when not to. Another Harcourt axiom: don't tell the boss who doesn't want all the profits you could get for him that he isn't getting them. As Harcourt sees it, you have to know the primary goals and shape what you do to fit them. Since political tactics aren't overtly sanctioned, they give rise to games that people play to build power bases, defeat rivals, and promote in-group members over those in the outgroup. When such tactics work, over time they become embedded in the culture of the organization. At that point, a few important things get accomplished in the absence of their application. Worse still, having gotten so used to playing games without having to think about how to do so, few if any of the people playing them are capable of articulating how they work. They can play them, but they can't explain how or why. They're like political robots, irreversibly hardwired. My primary aim is to pull together the information gleaned from hundreds of interviews and probing discussions I've had with CEOs, senior managers, and high achievers in many fields during 20 years of business consulting, to shed light on how politics in organizations works. Moreover, I want to demonstrate how you can use political moves to gain admission to the inner circle of your organization, in short, to learn the secret handshake.